What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today what I'm going to be doing is a big roundup of some of the things I've played on VR in the past month or two, stuff that I've had on the back burner that I've been trying to do, and I've been playing and recording footage, but it's just become quite impossible for me to get everything out, especially since some of these things have already been out for a while now, whether it's due to embargoes being too short or me just being busy with work and working different shifts and not being around at the time when things come out. It's just been quite a bit of a struggle for me to get through it. There's been so much coming out this year, especially in these last couple of months. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you just a roundup of some of the things that I have been playing in the VR realm, and yeah, just my thoughts on it, and hopefully you get a good impression on what I've been playing, if you think it's worth it, or if it interests you into checking it out, or whether to stay away from it. Either way, I'm just going to go down the line of some of the things that I've been playing. So one of the things that I did actually cover was the Rogue Incursion, Alien Rogue Incursion Part 1. Now, I haven't done a full review of this because I haven't had the chance to complete the game, but I did put up a first impressions video, so if you do want to check that out, it is on the channel. But yeah, this is one of the ones that I was very excited to check out this year, and honestly, I wasn't disappointed from what I played. It was Alien Rogue Incursion. You play as, I can't remember her name now, Zula Hendrix, that was it. I had to do a quick Google there, completely went out of my mind. But yeah, I'm doing this off the top of my head. I don't really have notes. All I have in front of me is just a list of games, and I'm just going to go from my thoughts about what we did. So yeah, I really did enjoy what I did play of Alien Incursion. I do want to get my hands on the PC version of it. That is developed by Survios. It's out now, so you can get your hands on it. You can check it out. There's plenty of other full reviews out there, so yeah, have a look at those. Next up is one by Resolution Games. Now this is Demeo Battles. This is something I actually played a long time ago on the Quest 3, pretty much close to when it launched, and I remember being really impressed with that. I played it with Alex from Crossbutton VR, and we were having just a good time with it. It was very pin sharp in the headset. I remember it being like one of the cleanest looking games. If you don't know what Demeo Battles is, well, if you don't know what Demeo is, it was originally Demeo, and then we have the Battles version, which is more of a multiplayer version, multiplayer versus player version of the game. So what it is, it's like a dungeon crawler essentially. You in VR are looking down at a dungeon, and you have your own characters and pawns, and the other team or the AI, they have their own, and you kind of have a dungeon that you have to get through and take down the other person's champions, and you do this by moving it around as if it was a board game. And you have a physical dice in the game. Now every time you make a roll, you get to throw this dice and see if you get like a double or just a normal attack. So it's very much like a tabletop board game, but in reality. And one of the things that was awesome about it on the Quest version was, with it being mixed reality, you could see sort of like the other players around the table. And I think it's pretty much the same in this one, but obviously they're not using like hand tracking. This one has the controllers, so it's not much different, if I'm honest. It's even the Quest 3 version visually looked amazing. So the differences here with the PSVR 2 version is probably like maybe a higher resolution and the haptics in the controllers and stuff. But I mean, as far as the game goes itself, like, I do think it's worth checking out. It definitely benefits compared to the original Demeo, which is very long. Like, you could be playing a level for like hours. Demeo Battles has like a battle royale system to it. So, well, not battle royale, but every round, like a inferno ring appears around the dungeon, and every round it gets closer and closer, so you're kind of pitted to make your decisions as fast as possible, because you only have a certain amount of rounds before you're basically going to be next to the characters without anywhere to move. So you have to be very tactical. And Demeo Battles, yeah, always was fun on the Quest, and now it's come to the PSVR 2. I definitely think it's worth checking out if you're interested in that, especially if you've already checked out Demeo and you like that. Next up is Green Hell Multiplayer VR. So this is one that I haven't really had much time with, honestly. I always wanted to play this when it first came out, but I know there's always been discrepancies whether the PC version is the elite version that's got all the features, or whether it's stripped down for the Quest, and whether the Quest version was ported to the PSVR 2. There's been a whole sort of debate about which is the one to play. I always wanted to go with the PC one, but I don't have the PC version. But I've played a bit of it on PSVR 2 single player, and I played a tiny bit of it on multiplayer on the Quest 3, because for some reason every time I try and play the multiplayer on the PlayStation VR 2 version, it just says internet unavailable. If anyone else has that issue, please do let me know why, because I've just not been able to play the multiplayer. So I don't know if it's something on my end or if it's something to do with the game that you guys are facing as well. But yeah, I didn't really have much input on the multiplayer of this, even on the Quest, because just because of time and having people available, I just jumped into a few other people's random games, honestly, and just seeing what they were doing. So I didn't get the full experience of like having a team of people to talk to and communicate what we're going to do. I'm going to go out and chop some trees down and this person's going to go and get food. Like, I didn't have that experience because I wasn't playing with friends, but I think the fact that you can just join other people's games is definitely a good thing. So that game is developed by Creepy Jar, and yeah, if you're into that survival game, maybe check out some of the other reviews online like Jammy Hero and some of the other bigger YouTubers, because they'll give you more in-depth on the actual experience and whether it's worth it. But I mean, from what I played, I feel like there could be something there, but definitely better with friends. Next up is something that I also didn't spend too much time with, and that is Masters of Light. And there's also a recurring theme is that this is a game that came out on the Quest a long time ago, which I checked out, and it's essentially a game, it's almost like a music and rhythm game in a way, but you have the power of light and you have to stop these things from basically getting to you, and you do that in the Quest version by sort of pointing your hands at them and shooting a light beam or a light ball to take them down. And the music in the game is really cool. It sounds almost like something from Daft Punk, but I was worried that when they said this was going to come out on the PSVR 2 that you're not going to be able to use hand tracking, so it's not going to be as immersive. But it does feel quite good in a way, because with the way the PSVR 2 controllers are, with like the dome around your hand, you kind of still can point your fingers as if you were just doing it with your hands. So it does feel pretty good. You've got the haptics in the controllers as well, so it's pretty much similar. You don't have the freedom of not having controllers to play, which always gives you a bit of a boost in immersion, I guess, but you have the haptics to counter that as well. So yeah, had a bit of fun with that one. Haven't played too much, and I'm kind of eager to go back and see how it develops as you get further into the game. Now, the one that I probably put the most time into, which is one that I really did want to get a full review out for in time, but I mean, the embargo was quite late, and I feel like every time they were patching the game, it was getting better and better. And I did record like 8 hours plus of gameplay for this game. I still have it, and I was going to like chop it down to review, but it would take me so long, and then there's a point, like, I mean, everyone else has already covered the game. But Skydance's Behemoth is a game where you are in a medieval sort of Dark Soulsy world, and these behemoths, these giant creatures, have sort of taken over, and there's bad guys and the curse and all these things. I don't want to get too much into the story of the game, but it's mostly about the combat and using your hook and your crossbows, and you have like a slingshot that you can pull things, you can grapple things, which is one of the big mechanics when you're facing off against these behemoths. And I finished this game. This is one of the only VR games I put like loads of hours into on launch, and I felt like by the end of the game I was really enjoying the combat, especially after it got a lot of patches and stuff. And some of those behemoth boss fights were really good as well, like towards the end, like the second and third one, really cool. So I always find it with VR games that because the mechanics of the gameplay, especially if it's sword fighting or shooting, I tend to feel you don't really get a good grasp for them until much later in the game, and by that point you're about to end the game. So I feel like a lot of these games are going to be more fun to play the second time around when I've got a bit more experience, and I feel like that with Behemoth. I really hope they put in like a new game plus, because there's still some powers and upgrades for the weapons that I could go back in and get while just having fun and just like chopping people up. Because yeah, that's one thing that is super fun when you do get into the combat. Like, it can be really fun, especially when you get one certain weapon towards the end of the game, like an axe type of weapon. I felt like I really became like immersed in it then, because I felt like Kratos just chopping down these enemies. Next up is a game which is a lot less serious than Behemoth, and that is Trombone Champ. Now, I first saw this when I was at Gamescom for the XR booth, and I did have a appointment to go and play it, but it was like way too late in the evening. I had to go and get a plane back, so I missed my chance of getting a go at playing it. But I did get a key supplied for it on both PSVR 2 and on the Quest, and I didn't really know what to expect. Like, especially with the Quest version, I didn't know it was going to be hand tracking or controllers, but it's essentially a music and rhythm game in a way, where you are playing the trombone by sort of using your hands on the controller to move up and down between like the pitch of the song. So when it's like really high, you have to move it up, and if you make it low, you move the one part of the trombone down. So it's quite tricky to get used to, but it actually adds to like the hilarity of the game, because it doesn't sound like you're playing a legit song. It sounds like you're playing a weird trombone version. It's really funny, and I think this is going to be one that's super fun to play with friends, because you'll end up just like cracking up, because just the way some of these songs that they've got in the game sound when you're like messing them up with the wrong pitches. It's just a bunch of fun, simple fun. Had a lot of fun with it, and I'm looking forward to get back into it, and I'm hoping I can play with some other people, just because I feel like the multiplayer is where it's going to be really fun. I feel like if you had like multiple people in the same room all playing with like quests, it'd be hilarious, and it'd be hilarious to watch as well. And last up as well is another one that I was going to do a full review for, which I didn't get around to. Had all the footage ready for it, but at this point it's probably just a bit too late now. But this is Action Hero from Fast Travel Games. Now this is a game that it was actually the first game I got to try out at Gamescom. It's such a great experience, my first time being there, sort of as a trade visitor and getting behind the scenes, and I was really good at first experience with the game. And what this game is essentially, think of something like Superhot, where nothing moves unless you move, but then apply that to being in a movie set in different genres of movies. So, and I'm hoping they do get to make a lot more of these different genre films. Like I really want to see like a zombie or a horror film be applied to Action Hero. But the way the game works is you are put into different scenes of a movie. Nothing moves until you move, so you are really getting to play the part of the action hero in this. So for example, you're playing in this Indiana Jones temple type of level, and there's someone coming at you with a revolver, and you can really just pick and choose how you want the scene to go down and how you want to feel like a badass or not. So they could be running at you with a revolver, and you can do things in, well, it's your sort of hand physics, so you can do it in any way. So you could dodge them and grab the gun in slow motion and shoot them, or you can dodge them, you can punch them, you could even pick the gun out of their hands in slow-mo, hit them with the gun, or you could grab the gun and throw it at someone and then punch them. There's so many different alternative things you can do, because it's literally you figuring out what to do on the fly when you're moving like frame by frame. And as you get through the game, you see all the different genres, as well as one that's very Matrix like, and you feel like Neo in that game, just moving out of the way and watching the bullets fly by as these agent type characters are running at you. There's just so much fun to be had here. I will say that with the hand tracking and the radius of your Guardian when playing the Quest version, it can be quite tricky not to like destroy things in the house. I was playing this like around Christmas time, and the amount of times I'd like jumped into my Christmas tree trying to dodge like an axe, because that was the only way I could go. Like the axe was swinging down at me, I had to go like to the left, and then I'd just feel like my whole body going to the Christmas tree. But I suppose that's what our Guardians are for. I just had mine sort of turned down to the lowest setting for immersion. But one thing to be careful with if you're playing that, but that usually is an indicator of a really fun game, because you get really into it. Superhot was always one of my favourite experiences as well. So yeah, one last one to bring up as well, which is, I haven't got on my notes, but it was a game called Maestro. Now I played this on the Quest version with the hand track, and this is similar to Trombone Champ, but you are a maestro in an orchestra. Instead of being a trombone player, you're the one orchestrating everyone, and you have to do this with using a hand tracking to, you know, point at people playing a certain instrument and use your fingers to raise the pitch and lower the pitch. And then you use, like, it actually tells you that you should use something like a stick just to simulate having it in your hands. So there's different mechanics that you can use to bring up like the high and the low points of the music, and it's got some good songs in there as well, from like Christmas songs and classical music that you've heard all before. I think like this game would be really great if they had like DLC for movie scores, if they had like a Christopher Nolan pack, I can't remember what it's called, a Hans Zimmer pack. That would be awesome to play through some of these epic tracks with like a whole background and stuff, but obviously that's licensing. But yeah, so this is going to be my roundup. There's a couple of games that I am going to be playing in January, which I'm going to hopefully try to cover either as single videos. If not, I might have to do another one of these roundups close to the end of January. But like I said, I do apologize if you guys have been wanting to see full reviews and full videos on these things. It's just been quite tough for me to balance it all out, and the less, like, the further back you get trying to catch up on all this stuff, the harder it gets. So this has been like my only chance to sort of get something out and talk about some of these games. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's going to be definitely a lot more VR coming for me in 2025. We've got a couple of games, like I said, that I'm really looking forward to covering, and then seeing what we have in store for the rest of the year, because 2024 was like the best year for VR titles ever, in my opinion. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know which of these games you're interested in, or if you've played them, which one you like the most. And yeah, let me know what you're excited for in 2025 also. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.